You're listening to Anything But Competitive by Geeks First, the show that brings trading card games to life with the latest news, reviews, and table talk. Here's your host, Jacob.
So I'm assuming today's topic would be pretty much kind of the dev talk. That was going to be what I was going to jump into. And also congrats. I'll say this again in the video intro, or maybe this is the video intro. Haha, we're here. Welcome.
I got
Congrats on 3K. It looked like, or recently you must have just crossed that from what I was kind of watching the video, and I saw that number had crossed the finish line. So congrats. Well, not the finish line, the starting line.
Thank
I don't know.
you.
Like a line.
It's a line. It's a line somewhere, right? Yeah. No, I mean, I appreciate it. It was very much so crazy how quickly that crept up, because I was like, 3K to the end of the year. I think we'll probably maybe hit like 2950 on the trajectory we were at. Like, it's probably not going to be that crazy. Worst case scenario, we just start off next year on the right foot. And then it was like, boom, like, here you go. Boom, 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 boom. Like, I'm going on everybody. Like, I've been on several different, I have done so much within November and December, period, that it like this could have been spread across the entirety of the year. And it's just been like November, December, everything. And I'm like, okay, all right, well, if this is the pace it's got to be, then let's be it. So
yeah. And don't get me wrong, I would love to be at that pace, but there's a part of me right now that just, I kind of was explaining off camera some personal stuff, and it's just like making content, for those that don't know, is a passion. Like, it's a lot. I mean, I saw Az, by the way. I think he farewell. Az, thanks for everything. I have several. I have your mat somewhere and your signed bobble. I think I put it back in a binder, but he's now exited, but is doing his own thing with something else. And it's just over the years, I've seen several creators have come and gone, and it's interesting to see that those that are sticking around, it's effort. It's a lot of effort. I mean, heck, I even was watching a podcast recently. I think it was Rainbow Pitch League. I think actually it was who you were staying with at World. They, I guess, had taken a hiatus for a little bit, and now they're coming back, and it was because of school and because of job. And it's just like, it's interesting because that resonated a lot with me, not because of the school, but because of like other things in the job. Just, we all have our own little things. It's wild to think that, everyone's human, right? And true. I'm gonna shout out Logan, man. That Flesh and Pod, they were on that streak, man. Rain, shine, sleet, hail. The post office delivered. I mean, Flesh and Pod delivered their podcast every day of every week. So that's very impressive. The more I think about it, the longer I look at it. So
yeah, I mean, it's a labor of love for sure. I think that when it comes to content, really, you have to have the want for it, and it has to mean something. Like, yeah, sure, I make a whole bunch of these videos, and I just kind of like upload me talking about some cards for 30 minutes and then playing a game, and it's like, okay, cool, big bam boom, done. That's my knowledge now out into the world. But I mean, at the end of the day, the reason I make content, even specifically in the space that I do, is just because I know that we're all adults and that we all have things that we have to do in our lives that sometimes will take us away from flesh and blood. And something as simple as just keeping a budget 20 life deck hero on you is enough to say, hey, you know what? I need a little escapism. You're over at my house already. We're already playing. Let's just get some Silver Age decks or some, whatever, and play a quick game. Get ourselves, really live in the moment and find that joy. And that's really what it is to me, at least. So as long as I can continue to do that for people, that helps. So that's all I need.
Join me on a journey, good sir. I'm gonna rip off the Band-Aid and dive right into what I want to talk about, because frankly, I'm one that, I don't know if the word is, I don't like to make content if there's nothing important to talk about, but like this single-handedly, this dev talk number, I think it was 17. Is that what it was? Yeah, number 17.
Yep.
I think single-handedly takes every assumption out of Flesh and Blood, takes it, puts it in a hat, shakes it up, puts it upside down, and then they pull a rabbit out. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. this is kind of like a weird combination of like everything I have heard people basically want for like the last 2 to 3 years, with some caveats in there, that I think that this, by the way, if you have not seen it, please go watch that video, because we'll be talking a lot about that. But I know, I believe you have watched it. I think you even talked a little bit about this on your morning cast that you were doing on, I think it was Tuesdays, which if you're a channel member over at his, you can get early access to. If I recall, I'm trying to do the sales pitch you do. I don't remember. It's like early access. That's right. Yeah,
you're selling me, buddy. I can sell me. I can sell me at the end of the podcast. Don't you worry about all that.
But anyways, like, I know that you already had your conversation with that a little bit, but like, I marinated on this information, and I've watched this 3 or 4 times now. I've listened to a couple of people speak, like yourself, like I think the Elaine conversation on Flesh and Buds. There was a little bit of hint in like Flesh and Pod, right? I think even DM Armada did something, right? Everybody's kind of had their little spiel on it. And as I have absorbed this, you said, I think in your group, I went to go find this actually. There was a long list of stuff, and we can kind of go over that, because I
saw you post this. Yeah, the TLDR of the Dev Talk. Yeah, that was very thick. Shout out to Piers at our local Colorado scene for breaking it down for a lot of our folks who did not want to watch the entirety of the Dev Talk. It was really concise. So
that is a very excellent piece of information that I probably should credit him somewhere in this. I need to go figure out where his name is and tag his. I don't think he's in my Discord, so I don't think I can tag him. But I added a couple of extra small things at the end that I feel, beyond what was said there, these highlight what I'm going to say as, and I'm bad at this, by the way. I'm an engineer. I'm the nuts and bolts guy. So like, I don't get grand pictures a lot, but like, I feel like they channeled into whatever way they were wording this, and like they funneled this James White's grand vision. I feel like I was like, oh, you see it, right? I don't. It's comical when you say it like this, but like, I think the most important things that I took out of that whole thing are things are going to continue to evolve, which is a very generic statement, but the more you think about it, that's a good thing to have in a game, especially when you think about how other games have, in a weird way, languished, maybe chose different directions that were not the general old person get off my lawn, enjoyment factor, but then more so like, I'm gonna pick on Magic for a second, but like Universes Beyond. Absolutely. I personally hate that. I do not enjoy Universes Beyond, but I do like the Jurassic Park thing. And I'm going to like Star Trek when it comes out. So like, I'm going to have to eat my own words, because I'm going to want those things. So like, it's this weird, like, aha, they got me. Oh, wait, they got me. Oh, that's cool. Oh, well, really? It's this weird balancing act. So like, not picking on them too much there, but I noticed that there was, in this whole talk, and this is a key focus for myself because I do enjoy it, PvE was not mentioned on purpose, I'm sure. Again, that was expected in my opinion.
It won't be a format we're going to see.
Well, and I'll hit on that. But UPF also was not mentioned, and it was interesting to be omitted. But one of the phrases that James White had said very specifically was, if you disperse your player base across too many disperse your player base across too many formats. And I think what that is signaling to myself, which is why there was changes to Blitz, to CC, to Living Legend, to Silver Age, which technically is in Series 0 or season pregame. It's technically not even the thing yet. Which I think we all, I think me and you and Dice Commando did a really good job of acknowledging that was a thing, but everybody else was like, oh my gosh, it was interesting to listening to some of these things. It was like, guys, the whole point of this is that the next set is actually when the line in the sand goes and they go fire the gun and everyone starts running. So everything you're doing now, cool, but like, it's not that. When they said they were going to have that many pieces of equipment and all these different things, like, I was like, all right, that's the goal. They're literally resetting. They're just coming in and they're being like, all right, guys, magic smoke, clapping their hands, smoke goes everywhere. And it's just like, begin, and everybody can battle royale to what they want. Anyways, they called Sage the gateway format. And They being, I think it was James White in this one. And the reason that that's important is that is going to replace, that I'm aware of, as Commoner. That's going to replace, really I was holding up this Bravo deck. I mean, this still has a place, but in reality, it's not. This serves a different purpose. It's not the first strike decks, right? It's not the blitz decks. There have been so many iterations of attempts, and I think this is their final, they got everything lined up and discovered that this, after trying a couple different, missteps is the wrong word, but different variations that were not the vision that this is. I think this is where they were originally hoping that Blitz would have been and Commoner would have been. Like, I feel like each of those was a stepping stone to get to where it is right now. And that's why, Compendium is the making of the format. And I don't remember if that was Gottlieb that said that, but I think that to me says that Silver Age is going to be the focus. So that to me means, unless we get some sort of interesting mastery pack set that might happen to collate with, a UPF, I'm going to, say, in my opinion, I think that going back to the dispersing your player base across too many formats is my hint that UPF is a back burner thing. That's my personal opinion at this point. Since it was not a focus in this dev talk, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, you're absolutely correct. I think at the end of the day, when you'd mentioned that it's not a good idea to disperse your player base across multiple formats, I personally believe a lot of what that ties into is you shouldn't do that competitively. You shouldn't have to have people know how to play Living Legend competitively, and Classic Constructive competitively, and Sage competitively, and Limited competitively. All of those things, you have to have a brain for every single one of them. Every single time a new set is dropped, you got to know the Limited. Every single time a new set is dropped, you have to know how that affects LL, CC, Sage, every single one. And
it's a lot to keep up with.
Yeah, exactly. It's far, far, far too much that is expected of most players. Most players, when you consider them in their TCG space, they have their format. They have the format they like. That's where they want to put their efforts into. And that's what helps them grow as a player, is sticking within that format. Right. Having to tell a player to also learn Sage and also be aware of LL, you're now splitting up that thought. And eventually it's going to get too overwhelming. This is where you see things like burnout, which is why I like that their focus a lot more here is two formats that we actually will do things with.
Classic
Everything else
and
is
Sage, right. Those are the two that they're focusing the primary.
Those are the two. Yeah. Yep. Classic Constructed, Sage. Obviously, they are still putting in some efforts towards Limited. Limited will also be doing quite a fun job there regarding, what the next steps are. There will, I'm certain, to be Pro Tours and Nationals and things that have Limited within them, and it's not just going to be Sage and Classic Constructed. But I do think that overall, what they meant by that is just that they shouldn't make it a priority that everybody know these things. They should instead put their focus on what they believe to be a gateway and the finish line. And that is their concept.
The cat was eating plastic over there. Yeah, that's why I had to go grab the cat.
I see.
It was being a plastic eater, and I was like, that can't happen.
Plastic eater.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But but to answer your question, UPF is pretty much just going to be dead. It's, to be fair, it's been dead for a while now, right? I mean, you already have a lot of stuff that's not banned in the format. There's not a whole lot of things that are looked over as what's fun, right?
Brutality.
Like
I love it. Don't get me wrong.
Nothing has changed there.
Now that being said,
for sure,
we might get a surprise where we will see something that will come out in 6 months to a year that will revitalize that in some capacity. That's always within the possibility. But I'm just going to act with the Otis or modus operandi. I'm gonna just go with the assumption that Silver Age is the new UPF, and if you want to play UPF, you just slam 4 of these decks, which, gasp, when you buy one of the collections, right, you have at least 4 of them. So by proxy, you could technically play at least UPF if you wanted to, because I think each chapter is it 6 decks or 5? Each
chapter is 5 decks. Yeah.
So,
each chapter is 5 decks. So you have the option for it. But again, like, I think that's really it. Like, knowing that there is a format for that helps with players who maybe want that in their TCG, right? Maybe they want that social game. And it's not correct for them to remove the format entirely just because they're not looking at it from a competitive aspect. Instead, they're just saying, hey, of course it'll be here, right? Living Legend will always be here, just like Legacy is always there for Magic players.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Classic Constructed is always going to be there because obviously that's the best that everybody is wanting in the game. You have Silver Age, which is a great way for you to get into the game for like literally the cheapest you could get into most TCGs and still win cash prizing, like pretty good. So they're putting a lot of focus in there, but I don't think that it is, you know, and the reason I'm so like much more like I'm telling people don't disparage the fact that like your format is not popular. Just be the voice that you want to be to see that popularity happen, because that's what it's about. I come from a place where literally we are on a committee talking about a format that does not exist in Flesh and Blood, and it is still something that a lot of people want to play. People still want to play Clash, even with Silver Age being a thing.
Yep.
You know, people still want to go about trying all that stuff, and people still want to try PvE, right? They still want to do the PvE stuff with the Overlord engines and all that. Like, that is still a thing that players will want. And if you're loud enough about it and you get enough people who are wanting to actually play it, you'll find your group. That group will grow. You'll continue to push it amongst people and see if that's something that jives with the rest of the community. You'll find your people. Those people you can play those formats with, but the majority are probably just going to be playing Classic Constructed, and that's fine.
And that was the thing that I discovered around here, right? Is it was really hard to schedule a UPF game. It was harder to get people to say, let's play Commoner. But, you know, we could try to play Blitz, but sometimes they really didn't want to play Blitz because the heroes they liked were Living Legend out. So then they wanted to play Living Legend. It was this interesting circle, and it always ended up landing on either Living Legend or Classic Constructed, which, you know, Classic Constructed being the, you know, premier format, I think that's still the terminology, is, you know, what I would think is going to be the most common. That's typically what you're going to see at your armory. I really do hope that I can convince people, especially with the whole idea that once this Dev Talk has come out, that the current iteration of where things are is not Sage in its true grandest form. So I'm hoping that there will be some revised interest once the pin set drops, so that theoretically, you know, there are some folks that are not necessarily 100% vested with that, are willing to. But again, life comes up. Things are you know, changing all the time, and it may be that I will go to one store to play CC, and I have to go drive to another store to play, you know, Sage, and that's just the way it's going to have to work. But that's fine. With all that said, how do you want to? I mean, I think the craziest thing is talking about this list that your buddy typed up here, starting with Blitz. Congratulations, we now have Commander in Flesh and Blood.
Yeah. Singleton Blitz is the announcement, and it is, oh my god. So it's really funny, right? And I kind of hate that it had this effect on me, and I'm sure it had this effect on a lot of people I know, because locally we had a lot of people who were just like, Blitz is kind of a bad format. We don't really like much anything about it. We're only playing in skirmish because the promos are there. We don't really care to actually like enjoy the thing. And some of our skirmishes did not fire at all. Like, genuinely didn't fire. Out of the huge community that we have out here, the promos were not even enough to fire some of these skirmishes. And it's just because a lot of people had a disdain for Blitz, right? But it's funny because I've never hated Blitz. I've just understood that it could be, you know, it doesn't destroy that barrier of entry. You're still paying a lot of money, and you're also playing a quicker game that's usually like within the 2 to 3 turn range if you're like really busted. But with Blitz now, I have never wanted to build a Blitz deck more in my entire life than at this very moment, because it's just like everything's unbanned.
Yep.
There's no more LL system, so we no longer have to worry about, you know, who's in Living Legend and who isn't. And it's a singleton format. And it's not just singleton like, oh, only the cards inside your main deck, you can only have one of each color. You can only have like one Kadachi. Like, it's gotten to that point where it's like really, really unique in the way that you're able to do it. You know, you can't have double Centauri Saber. You can now only have Centauri Saber and Hot Streak. Or you can't have two Mandible Claws. You can have one Mandible Claw and a Ball Breaker or something. Like, there's going to be ways to make
there's no generic
crazy.
one-handed weapons. Cough, cough. I hope Penn has generic one-handed and generic two-handed weapons. Cough, cough. That would be awesome. Cough,
They probably
cough.
will.
Because that was something I've been asking for a really long time. Cough, cough. Okay, I'm done. That was my bad joke. I have been dying to wait to just not know. Oh, you're playing Dash? Well, that's got to be a pistol you're using, or it's Talishar, because obviously Talishar is better. You know, she won't let my wife is stuck holding the cat because the cat is just demanding cuddles, like just all up every. Okay, anyways, back on the topic here. I love this cat, but it is just sometimes just over the top. So
sweet little baby, sweet little cuddly baby.
With the way that I guess, you know, the format is going to be that singleton format, I think it's actually more mentally interesting because that almost makes it to where the games are going to be more varied or more less consistent, which also means that sometimes you'll have these epic stories. So I think I would like to make, as an example, I probably won't keep a lot of Blitz decks anymore. But given that, you know, all of these, right, every single one of these pre-constructed decks that I own, every single one of that was ever printed in the game of Flesh and Blood, are just sitting there. Maybe I guess because the other thing, right, Blitz uses higher rarity cards. Because if everything's unbanned, then really it's those Blitz decks are really just kind of, I don't want to say paperweights, but it just they're really not even useful with the new ruling, right? These, at this point, literally have nothing but just collectible value at this point. So, I unless you can give me a better idea for them, I cannot understand what I could do with them other than just cool. It's a relic of a bygone era, and we could all use them to play against each other to remember the old times. Like, that might be about the only thing that I could do with it, I guess. But they're not even fully tuned when they came out. So that's unlike the, you know, here's a $20 deck, your $2 million, you know, that quote, because the new decks that are coming out in Sage are apparently immediately tournament, you know, winning style decks, which is a vast difference from the, here's a pile of commons that you can get all in the set. It's like, that's very different.
And to be fair, though, I think the important thing, at least when you want to consider like decks that are good for teaching people how to play,
those are still good.
I'm sure I've said this on multiple different episodes of multiple different podcasts of multiple different videos, but the 6 heavy hitters Blitz decks are actually such an insanely good value, and just having them on you at all times, those are not bad products to teach new players. You do learn quite a bit in regards to block cards, instant speed discard effects, attack reactions, and then you just get to continuously like show off what some of the more basic understandings of the deck are without getting into talents or all this other shenanigans. The keywords aren't really that difficult to understand either. Clash is very easy to just go reveal the top card of your deck. You reveal the top card. Is the yellow thing more on mine? I win the clash. Like, there's a lot of value in those. And I do still think that I'll still use them as learning opportunities unless somebody comes up to me and they're just like, what's the best deck? I want to learn it right now. And is it any of these 10 decks that I have? And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll pull up one of these decks and we can play competitively, because you don't want to start off somebody hyper competitive unless they already have that information. They already know what a TCG is like. But on top of it, they also, you just want to start them off slow, because if you start saying this card is in here because of these 2 cards that are in here, because their synergy is good, but only in the second cycle of when you're going into aggro specifically. And it's like, wait a minute, what does that What did you say?
They're going to look
what
at
was
you
that all
like
about?
you just spoke a different language or you were an alien with 4 eyeballs. Yeah.
I'm just like, yo, I want you to know what a block does. I want you to know what blocking is. I want you to know what attacking is. I want you to know what the reaction step is. I want you to know what happens to your floating pitch. That's it. Like, that is the bare bones basic. That's what I want to teach somebody.
Are they going to introduce pitch burn? Pitch burn, baby. Let's get pitch burn in this game.
Dude, if we get pitch burn in here, it's going to be crazy. I would love... I don't think you realize how sick that would be as a wizard concept to just pitch for, like, just get a bunch of 2-cost attacks in your 2-cost, like, things in your deck and just pitch a blue, play the 2-cost thing for, like, 5 arcane and then burn 1 additional to hit you. Like, that would be sick. But... I
was even making a joke like in Magic it was mana burn where you would take damage if you had a bunch of floating resources you didn't use. Like in a weird way you could also do something like that, but that is also pretty sweet too. Now that we've given some other ideas for the ethos to exist in, let's move to Living Legend, which I am not as familiar with. So I think they had said that it basically looked like a perfect setup, as in everything looked like it was. So I mean, I don't play it as much, but looking from outside, I didn't see anything necessarily wrong. It's a lot of the same style of decks, but if 2 or 3 heroes were known from the beginning of the game to now to be some of the most powerful heroes in the whole game, I would expect them to be in the top contentions for everything. So to me, there's no, I mean, heck, I think it was called the Coaxing, right? That was what, 2-3 years ago or something, and it was like Starvo v Starvo v Starvo v. It was like, that was the joke, is that was the hero at the time that was the best, and when we did the Living Legend thing there, that was what was there. So to me, it kind of makes sense that the top tier ish heroes, the Briars, the Chains, the Starvos. I think there was a Marlin in there, right? But there was an interesting like, oh, how'd that get there? That's interesting. But the other ones were like, okay, cool, that's where it is. Like, all right.
Yeah. I think it's really, really what the format did. And this is something they mentioned on the Dev Talk, obviously, is that they thought that it was executed very well. They thought that it came out swinging. People had good sentiment about Living Legend. They were, what they felt is that they maybe pushed Living Legend a little too fast. And the reason being is because I do think that in the days leading up to this, when we had all the Living Legend pro quests and everything, you had a lot of people who the attendance was poor for Living Legend pro quests. That data shows that to LSS that the attendance was poor. So they automatically were just like, okay, not many people are that interested in it. But from a format perspective, the format still has so much more to be explored, because you were not there at Worlds. Literally, it was like 2 days or something before the World Championship. Did people decide Marlin and Dio best decks in the format? And it's like, this never came up during ProQuest season. This never came up during, like, none of this was ever touched. It's just all of a sudden people were like, it's only Rune Blades and it's going to be Guardian. It's Starvo specifically. That's what's going to be in top tables. It's never going to be anything else. And now they're just like, actually, Marlin and Dio have OTK strategies and just like complete ways to shut down your turn if they get the right cards. So
that one game I watched,
there's so much more to be explored.
I think there was that one game at Worlds where it was like Dash.io and they were like cranial, like it was Living Legend. And it was just like, I think the whole deck got drawn. Like that game was just unhinged. Yep. Like I was like, are you kidding me? This is what this hero can do? Okay, well, I guess I shouldn't feel bad for myself. I just got to get good now and understand why that worked, because like that is apparently what my hero can do. And it's like, all right, well, I got all the way up to this mountaintop I can make it to, and I'm going to start down here at, base 1 and work my way on up, because apparently I'm the filthy casual that saw that, oh my gosh, it can do this, and now I need to figure out how to do it. It's like,
I mean, that's it, right? Like it's a deck full of things you would never have imagined to do. I mean, this Dio deck was almost the equivalent of Slapdash, like the Slapdash era that, shout out to Easton Douglas, local to Colorado, made. Literally, this was it. Like, it was put cards that are not Mechanologist in your deck, and then just keep sending attack after attack after attack after attack after attack. System reset. Get 5 more counters on your Symbiosis shot. Have 10 action points. Send 20 damage at your opponent through your weapon.
Yeah.
Win the game. Like, that is an insane thing to think about. And again, if there were maybe 1 or 2 more callings before Worlds that were Living Legend, we probably would have seen some new stuff come to fruition, some more time for players to actually take a look at the format and maybe determine, that something here can work as a pseudo strategy. People were just hitting the cusp of what we could do in Living Legend. And with it being gone, not gone, but effectively these have become both Blitz and Living Legend have now become a once per year eternal format, celebration thing.
Sure.
There will be one competitive event for both of these formats at some point during the year, but it's only one, and it might be celebrated all throughout the year. It might be celebrated in one place. It might just be like New Zealand for a celebration or something. But there will be something for it. But I do think that LL is in a pretty okay spot. I think that it is just one of those things where it's going to have its people who love it, and those people are going to continue to play it.
Yeah.
But if they want to play it competitively, that is not a thing for them anymore. It might be in 10 years when we have significantly more things fleshed out in the format, and they have a better idea about what they want to do when they revisit it. But currently, it's just not in a very good state without them trying to rush things. If they rush stuff, it's going to make the format feel bad. So you want to make educated decisions, and I think that's why they're pulling away from putting a big focus on it.
Well, let's jump into Sage, which I think I have the most to possibly chat about. There's a couple other items that are on this list, but I do want to start with a question for you to confirm something, because looking at the Silver Age rules, there's been 2 questions that I've been coming up with that I can't quite figure out if the answer is true or false. I think the answer is they're still true, but are mentors legal in Sage?
No.
What prevents a mentor from being legal? Because it doesn't say the only in Blitz, it says only young hero.
They're Majestics.
Are they? I thought there was a couple that were not Majestic. Or
nope.
Okay,
they are all Majestics.
Then that takes it from the rarity component out. Okay.
Yes. If they were rares, then yes, they would be legal in that format. But and we very well may see rare mentors in Pen, but we are not going to be seeing them for a while. Mentor was a thing directly related to Blitz, because it was the young format. You weren't able to play them in Commoner because they were Majestic again. But that is, I don't expect to see them in Sage. So
that's why I was because I know they're in my Blitz decks over there, and I'm okay, maybe they might be. Okay, so that explained, because again, I could have looked it up on February. So dumb question, ignore me. Second one.
Not a dumb question.
Specializations. Why? Somewhere I read specializations were banned, or was that a original thing within when this was called Project Blue, or am I imagining this completely? Am I hallucinating?
You are in fact hallucinating. Specializations have never been banned from the format. Okay. They have always, if they are of rare or lower rarity, they are legal in the format. That's what we're dealing with right now with Soul Reaping, Ice Eternal, Red Hot, Soul Harvest. What are some other ones? Rise Up. Not Rise Up. Is Rise Up? Yeah, Rise Up's the rare.
Yeah. So
Rise Up.
Flail, there's at least
some other ones.
6, 12, 18. There's 20 currently available. Red Hot, Soul Harvest, Soul Reaping, Symbiosis Shot, V for Vanguard, Rise Up, Banksy, Ice Eternal, So whoever bought all those Ice Eternal promos way back in the day, probably, I don't say knew something, but they probably were speculating pretty hardcore and just got lucky.
Well, right now we have to wait till Icelander gets good. If she gets good in pen, then it'll be a worthwhile investment.
Good Time Chapoo, Crow's Nest, Hood of the Red Sand, Herald Judgment, Not So Fast, Whirling Mist Blossom, Knucklehead, Prize Gaia, Driftwood Cleaver, Golden Glare, Monstrous Veil, and Flail of Agony. Those are the current common and rare versions that are specializations pre-pin. So,
Yep, and that is something that has always been available to play in Project Blue and in Silver Age. So that does answer your question.
All right, cool. All right, moving on to Sage. Supposedly is replacing Commoner. That we kind of mentioned that in the early intro. That makes sense, right? I mean, I know you love Commoner. I really enjoyed Commoner. I didn't play it probably near as much as I should have, but I still feel like low power level budget format stuff is really the bread and butter. So Sage really slots right in there, and common and rares. Now I will release the caveat that, dear God, these decks better have. Hold on, I got this ready just for this. If I don't see these in the competitive decks, if this does not exist, I will have some anarchy. I have one Japanese, and then with the gracious luck of me figuring out, I have exactly one entire playset of these in everything I own. It's wild to me. But they're anywhere from $3 to $5 a card now, and they were not that prior to the announcement. So, I get things have to have value, but I really do hope that in these, that if there is some sort of, quasi sideboard kind of a thing, or, inventory, I don't know if that's the right term, the card pool of 55 cards. So I'm hoping that in some of these 20-ish, 10-ish plus whatever decks, that there's play sets of those that you could swap in and out if you want to, because they're not necessarily needed in every deck. It's not the best choice for every hero, but that is
right.
Those are important.
I imagine a lot of the armor that you're going to see in there is going to be armor that is printed in pen.
Correct. I think there's going to be a lot of brand
that is not printed in pen. If it's not printed in pen, it probably is whatever is best in slot for that. Because again, you have to imagine that with these pre-con decks, James White is so certain that these decks are going to allow you to win a calling. And that means that everything in the deck has handpicked and specialized to work into the meta that will exist when that set comes out.
Correct.
So if that is the case, we should see that whatever is supposed to be best in slot for the heroes, that's what you should be running. Can things change? Of course, but
I think somebody needs to get a golden trophy if they win a calling with a stock pre-con deck. Absolutely. I hope it will happen, but I really hope that the first couple of these, I know people are going to make their own. There's going to be little tweaks, I'm sure, but I want to see somebody walk in with a $20 deck and fulfill that, not full 2 million. That'd be insane, I guess, but like just actually fulfill the I won with the pre-con deck. That is what I want to see. As a fan of just keeping my precons, it'd be really neat to be like, oh, cool. Look, it's a award-winning, world champion deck, right? Because that's technically what Magic used to do. There was those world champion decks. You could buy copies of them. Mm-hmm. It was kind of neat. Pokemon does the same thing, by the way, too. One of these days, we might actually have this in Flesh and Blood, too. That'd be kind of interesting.
That would be cool.
Other things. LSS apparently was testing, Sage. I mean, is there anything, there's a lot of notes here, but is there anything really super important for, Sage is just, it's going to be the new onboarding tool. Is there anything specific you want to talk about Sage? Because I feel like I'm beating a dead horse with the amount of Sage talk. So.
Really, I think the important thing that we need to keep in mind is that, as mentioned kind of earlier on, is that like we are currently in a season 0. Season 0 is what I like to call it. It's just effectively where we are.
Yep.
They had proceeded to tell us that there was no testing done at all for the current form of Sage as it is. As you are playing it right now, there is no testing done for it. Right now, we are in the Wild West of Silver Age. And that means that you get to try out cool new things. You get to see cool new combos and stuff. But yeah, is like really powerful stuff going to be at the top of the meta? Of course. Is it still going to be at the top of the meta when Pen comes out? Maybe. That all depends on what they print. So
I was going to say, that's crazy to think, too, because Pen is going to be an injection of upwards of, do they actually, I know they specified at one point, but there was, oh my gosh, where'd it go?
I mean, it's like nearly a 400 card set.
Yeah, so. But then like not everything in the set is actually commons and rares. There are some Majestics, but again, with the number, I'm scrolling as fast as I can. I know it's in here somewhere. I thought, oh my gosh, it was right here.
I'd imagine it's like well over 200 commons and rares in the set.
Wasn't there a breakdown? I swear there was a breakdown. Product sheet, marketing.
Yeah, it should be in the Compendium of Wraith page. But that's kind of the big thing to think about. And I know right now a lot of people are kind of looking at the format as just like, oh, well, like if they wanted Chain to be at the top tables all the time, why didn't they just keep Living Legend around? Why did they remove this? And again, my biggest reason why I talk about these formats is not because I'm like some diehard lover of a 20 health format. I'm not some diehard lover of quick 2-turn games in which I get to blow my opponent out at nothing and then go, oh, yep, did I win the die roll? Okay, cool. This match was over before it even started. Yep. Just go grab lunch. Like, we're done. That's not the reason why I enjoy those. It's because this is a budget game where people can take time away from playing Flesh and Blood, come back, and not have to worry about investing several paychecks into cardboard. This is a way for you to just play.
And I used to collect every single legendary. I used to collect every single fable. I was trying to set complete to ensure when I inevitably said, I want to try out this class, I could do that. It became... I don't want to say nigh impossible, but it became financially not what I wanted to continue to do. Even as a set collector, it became very hard because then it's like, do you want the regular? Do you want the extended? Do you want the cold foil? Do you want all three? It's like, oh my gosh, I had too many goals. So the fact that I could buy commons and rares, and by the way, it's 124 rares and 142 commons that are coming in this set. There are still going to be Majestics. There are still going to be legendaries. And what's nice about that is it's still going, this set will shuffle up everything, but specifically that is 266 cards. You've seen what can happen. I'm saying you as the viewer, but I know it's you as well, Alex, have seen what can happen with just a single card in an expansion slot can do to change the dynamics of a deck into each other. And we're getting 266 anywhere from reprints to brand new cards. Even at a 50% ratio, that's like 130 something brand new cards if it is a split 50-50. So, oh my gosh, like there's going to be days. Like, I think one of the coolest things I'd like to do with you, if you're open for it, is like within 24 hours of all the cards being announced, I would love to sit down with you and just talk over like each card and what it could do for things. Because I feel like that could be a crazy interesting live stream because there's just so many options I'm sure that'll be there because you're like, oh, this existing deck, well, we'll add this one card that fundamentally changes it, or now you have 3 options. You can build version A that does this, and version B that's now a turtle, and version C that's aggro.
Yeah, there's always tons of opportunity available, and I think that's really like when you get that many cards that are going to be like just pushed into there. I don't even know that too many of those are going to be reprints. If I were to be honest, I would hope none of them are. But if they are, then it's probably just like your generic good stuff, right? There's obviously not going to be a Sync Below if they made it for Sage because Sync Below is banned. She's banned. But
okay, so I mean, here's my tinfoil hat theory. You want to see? I don't have a tinfoil hat today. I have my regular hat.
You better go get you a tinfoil hat, buddy. Whatever you're about to say.
Do you know why I'm going to actually disagree with that? I think we're going to see a Sync Below, and I think we're going to see a Fate Foreseen, even though they're banned in Sage. And here's why: even though this is a Sage-related product, I don't think you're going to see them in the common and rare. I think you're going to see it in the compendium pack or the special pack. I think they're going to do something special in the antiquity pack.
I mean, if they give if they do that, that's fine. I guess I'm talking about like more so how they've reprinted Ravenous Rabble for the past like 6 sets.
Okay,
and
fine.
It's been like in most of them, right? But like if you're going to give me a pretty version of Sink Below, sure, right? I'll consider it. But I think that overall, like most of the cards in the set are going to be new because they are going to be ways to make other heroes take a different avenue or maybe increase their current play pattern in what they have, as opposed to going, okay, cool. We're going to give you Scar for Scar, Life for Life, Blow for Blow, Sink Below, Arcane Polarity, Fate for Scene, Unmovable, Snatch. We'll give you, Pummel again. They're not. That's already that were to happen. That's already 10 slots at 3 colors each.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's far too much. So I think that genuinely, I would hope that a lot of these cards that are going to be printed are cards that are expected to be good ways to increase and change the way that your deck is. And I think that to your point, that some of the cards are going to have special versions of themselves, right? Sure. In things like the Antiquity Pack. I actually think that those cards are going to exist in the tournament packs that you're going to be getting for showdowns, because that is what they said those are meant to be, is those showdown packs. So
speaking of which,
but
I did get something special. I saved it for us. Although I did get a Black Friday pack.
Oh, nice. There you go.
I do want to keep one sealed forever. I guess the question is, did you get to open one of these?
I got to open 4 of them.
Oh, well,
I got to open 4 of them, and let it be on record here for anybody who happens to, because I will not tell you the stores I purchased them from. I did not need to spend $50 to get a pack at all. I didn't need to hit anything. People could not keep. They literally could not keep. They could keep them. All they did was keep them because nobody was buying that kind of stuff at that rate for them to get one pack of. And let me be clear, the most awful selection of cards you could have chosen for a Black Friday set ever. I just don't think it was good at all.
I paid somebody directly for getting the Marvel Cricks. So that somebody.
How much did you pay for that? How much did you pay?
$60.
You paid $60 for an unplayable hero outside of Smash Palace.
Here's the thing, right? Dev Talk wasn't out. I'm gonna blame it on the Dev Talk. I didn't think UPF was dead, but now again, okay. This is not a quote. I don't know if UPF is dead, but I feel like I've been shot in the heart. Shot in the heart. I'm sorry.
I think it's just like that. Like, that's what I mean, though. Is like I guess out of all the people I know in my space, right, in general, you would be the only person who it would make sense for you to own a copy of Groundbreaker Cricks. Because not only are you a collector, but you also do like Smash Palace, which is a hero that you can play in there. So by all means, that's fine. All I'm saying is that card is $20 flat.
Oh, did it drop that low?
No. I don't know what it's going for right now, but I'm telling you that I will never spend more than $20 on an unplayable Marvel outside of one format. I can't do it. That's not good. And I only imagine the card's going to continue to go down. You want to know why? People are not going to want to buy it. People are going to pull it, and they're going to go,
I mean,
what do I do with this?
It's currently the lowest one on TCG right now is $50, which I'm not saying is a bad deal, but it is interesting that the person who has that has 4 of them, and then they're wanting 50, and then everybody else is right around 60. But grand total, there's not too many of them out there. But again, you're right? It's a pit fighter. It's not a young hero, so it only works in currently pit fight mode, aka Smash Palace, aka UPF.
Yeah.
So, I'm not necessarily mad I bought it. It's just it's interesting that is the
I mean, hey, at the end of the day, you do whatever need to. All I know is that we've had several people out here attempt to sell Grape Breaker Cricks, and they can't get rid of it.
I'll buy it for I'll buy one of them from your buddy for $20. How about that? That'll equal me out. That'll equal me out. I'll have a 60 and a 20.
There you go. Exactly. Well, I'll make sure you know where to find all the people out here trying to sell them, because golly, I'm telling you, they're just not. They're not the one thing that is selling the most that I've seen out of like everything in that set is booze. Booze is selling far more than anything. Because it's just like the only reviled card in the set, and it's really, really good and necessary in both KO and Life in like every form. So it is interesting. But
interesting enough, you just reminded me. So I guess I need to also, after this, chat with you about trying to get some of the stuff from I don't know if I got stuff from Worlds or prior event, but I know there's some stuff I think you have. Logan from Flesh and Pod,
I too
managed to get my Crack Bobble. So I now have my 4th in my series. Nice. So I have my 1, 2, 3, 4. That was the Monarch one. I'm going to do one more for the 5th year at Tales of Aria, and I'm going to stop doing that because that seems to be a logical conclusion to it, since there were no more Cracked Baubles officially, I think, in the 1.0 era, and that'd be the first 5 years of Fab. Interestingly enough, that one got a really horrible grade, or I guess a very mid grade compared to what I got on some of the other ones. So go figure, Monarch got a mid grade. Anyways, kind of funny. So jumping further, Sage, we talked about the voting thing. I do want to congratulate LSS for, in my opinion, picking absolutely the best perfect solution to this, because I know that I've said it. I think I said it on this channel multiple times. I know you'd said it. Like, I am glad that it is tied to the gym account. It is not a web form. It's not something that somebody can do some shenanigans with. You have to have had one participated in an actual Sage event during, I'm assuming, the time frame at which they're voting, and 2, you get one vote, not 3, not 2, not 1. You're not picking all 3. You're picking 1, and you will get tallied against everybody else. So mathematically, if there is 100,000 players, you have to get 33,334 if everyone voted equally to be the number 1 pick, and then 3,333 would be the second pick, and then 3,330, whatever, 1 would be the third pick if everything was equally distributed. We know that's not going to be the case. You're going to have people voting for everything just because they want to meme it and they want to play with it. And I already made the joke because I kind of caught the subtext of what James White was saying. I'm going to make one of those videos where, like, you walk up to a podium at some point. I'm just going to shuffle papers and be like, my fellow flesh and blood players, let me recommend to you to happen to politic this by selecting your favorite hero to be removed from Sage. Like, why not remove Bravo the Flattering Showman? Because he's a show-off. You don't need him.
Yeah, just do like smear campaigns for heroes. I think that would be super freaking funny. I think it'd be a funny thing to do.
I've been already wordsmithing, trying to figure out a way to do funny ones for like just 4 or 5 heroes, just because it'd be hilarious. That's
so good.
Yes,
that's so good, Jacob. That's so good. Like, holy crap. That's what we're doing.
And
that's
then
what we're doing. Come voting season.
And then it's even better. Be like, like, I was trying to think of one for like KO. Be like, don't be dumb. Ooga booga. Vote for Betsy. Like, what? Like, just something silly. Just, I don't know. I'm sure that'll be it. I was going to wing. Anyways, we'll shut up about that. It's just, that was my thought when I saw that. I was like, okay, this has to happen. So anyways, that's fun. But that's the fun, right? You gotta have joy.
Brought to you by the sponsors of Betsy for not being banned in Sage.
And then it just like have that rapidly reading subtext of like what a legal disclaimer is on it. Yeah. So
you can read read out like a disclaimer at the end of the video, but do it really fast, like 4 times speed reading the script. Being like, Betsy is not actually a viable hero in Sage, and we do not suggest that you keep her in the format. Or we do not suggest banning her.
Why would she want to? Anyways, yeah. Okay. All right. Enough picking on Betsy. Anyways, Limited, which is the next little itty bitty thing. Sounds like they're going to be doing some leads into the next major set, which is the 10th anniversary, which is technically, I think, set 20, which would make sense. So if we're on set 16 now, that's 4 sets. So it's either going to be the 4th set the end of this year, or I think it's going to be the first set of next year. I didn't quite understand that. Do you know if that's off the top of your head?
So the 10th anniversary is not until 2020 2011 or not 2011. What the hell am I talking about? 2029?
Yeah. Cuz 19 was the first year. Yeah.
I think. Okay. Yeah.
So that'll
2029 is
that'll be like 16 sets from now, give or take, or a little bit more.
Yeah. But set 20 is a milestone set for them because it is, obviously the 20th
So
set.
do you think that's going to be the Monarch 3? You think that's going to be the 3rd Monarch?
I don't honestly know. I mean, I know set 19 is going to do something with Aurora. They confirmed that it wasn't going to be some kind of armory deck. Like it was going to be like a set, like she was coming out in that time. So I don't know. It could also be the freaking, what do you call it? There's also supposed to be a mastery pack releasing at that same time too. So
or Alchemist.
I don't know, but I would think Monarch 3 should hopefully be set 20 because that would be a very iconic thing to do to like not only end a year but also end a trilogy. So that would be cool.
He did specifically also say that in 2026 it is going to be the year of, and he specifically said products, play, and storytelling. So I like that the storytelling gives me hope that maybe I'm going to get a lore book. Maybe just possibly. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, right. Maybe that'd be awesome.
Or more lore drops because I don't really know. They gave quite a bit over the time, but in a weird way, I feel like it's kind of come a little bit laxed on like the story articles. I don't remember as many coming out as they once were, and maybe they now have focus to come back to that. Right? I mean, they are focusing on the game, but also part of the game is the lore, so it's kind of interesting to see where that goes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping for more lore always, but I understand that. Like, it's probably not where the money's being put. So it's probably on a bit of a back burner, but I think that's also, they announced, I'm not sure if many people even caught it when it initially was announced. I feel like a lot of people just kind of like didn't talk about it, including myself. But it was like, you can like submit fan fiction to LSS now about like stuff. Yeah. So that's kind of cool. Like, the opportunity is there. I think they're probably just like looking for people who do truly care about the setting and the story, and maybe even get them to hire on as a writer. But I would imagine that they're going to be doing more with the lore as time goes on, because it is something that a lot of people do care about. And I think myself, yourself, I think a lot of our communities would love to see more lore.
Yep.
But it's got to come with very popular sets. I think even Compendium of Wraith, the whole concept is it's untold stories of Wraith. That is the whole thing of it, is untold stories of Wraith. And so I'd imagine what this could even be is like a bunch of the lore that wasn't released, pushed out
some of the heroes that are mentioned in the. I don't think we're going to get new heroes in this set. It'd be interesting if we did. Maybe we get brand new young heroes. I don't know. That's still up. Nobody knows.
A lot of people are speculating on Adult Blaze. People are speculating on Adult Blaze in this set.
Well, but why would you release an Adult Blaze in a set that's designed for Sage? It's interesting. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that wouldn't be a bad idea.
You'd release both an Adult Sage or Adult Blaze and a Young Blaze who's in rare, like who is both of those, or they're like tokens or whatever, because. In that vein, it allows a new wizard to enter into the format, and in both formats. And of course, it's just like Kano's about to leave. Like, Kano will leave in this next season. So there's no doubt in my mind that we are going to have to see some kind of change. And I think that a lot of people are just really hoping that you don't have to do any. You don't even need to make Blaze have like a whole bunch of new cards, right? This is an expansion set.
Sure.
Not a draftable set.
Yep.
So
there's enough
you just
wizard
use the
cards
cards
out
that
there.
already exist.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to maybe touch on limited real quick. I enjoyed the most limited I ever enjoyed personally was the farewell to Welcome to Wraith. That event, I spammed the crap out of that event. I loved it because that was my real, those heroes just worked really well with me. I did not enjoy the Monarch stuff with the talents. That was not my cup of tea. Didn't really enjoy the talents within, Tales of Aria. Again, not my cup of tea. And then I fell back in love with it when we hit Uprising, because those heroes to me were a little bit, Fi was a ninja. It made sense to me. So I think that there was some discussion on that they've skipped limited a little bit, and that, the Super Slam, I guess the community, I didn't really see this out here, but it seemed like the community was not happy with the collation of the design aspect. I still don't really quite understand it, because to me, I didn't see anything wrong with it as a limited, but it sounds like it was not to the pinnacle, the pedestal that they hold other sets to. Do you know more about this? Because maybe you have a bigger community out there, so you probably have a lot more input. Here it was just we were playing CC most times. We never really did draft or such. So
yeah, I mean, I think there wasn't really so much of a disdain for wanting to do Super Slam Limited. We still had some stores that were running Super Slam Limited as just play a draft, because it is a draftable set at the end of the day. But from what I recall from the dev talk, effectively the talk of it was that they wanted to do a little bit more with the set. They kind of made it very just gimmicky without the weapons and things like that, because they're just testing a fun little thing. But from their experiences, it just initially it's fun, but you don't want to play a whole season of it kind of deal. Whereas with High Seas, a lot of people wanted to just draft. It was so much of it was pushed into that. And then on top of it, right, because they already had the push to make Living Legend the World Championship event, they didn't want to put a lot of emphasis on here's a draft set, because you're going to need to learn how to do this draft set in order for you to win Worlds. It just was not a necessary thing for players to know. And I mean, I had fun when I was playing Super Slam, but again, I think the sentiment was that it was not as fun for a long period of time. Whereas I think people even to this day, they'd be you'd look at Welcome to Wraith draft, and people are yeah, sign me up for Welcome to Wraith draft, sign me up for Tales of Aria draft, sign me up for High Seas draft, or Rosetta draft, or any of those things. And people are I'm so down for that. But Super Slam draft is okay.
But I would say the same about heavy hitters. I would rather have a heavy hitters draft over, let's say, High Seas as an example, even though there's a mechanologist in there. Because I know I'm just going to force myself to play mechanologist. I tried to play Gravy. I tried to play, Marlin. But they just weren't my cup of tea. So I'm assuming to each their own. Everyone's going to have their own version of it. But maybe everybody's
got a favorite.
Yeah, maybe that's what they were trying to convey. So it is interesting that they're going to kind of go back to that, at least. I thought somebody said, it says adapt or die. That was kind of a very interesting sentiment, because I don't want to say our community. I think Flesh and Blood communities in general actually much better than all the other ones I've kind of seen. But there are a lot of very fickle people, and I'm going to pick on, sorcery as an example. The community there is great. But there are other communities that I have kind of listened to some of the videos, and it's just constant complaining, no quality of life, positives at all. And it's just wild how some of those can be so negative all the time, when the reality is there's a little bit of truth, a little bit of not truth, and then there's the middle ground. And it's just just people get polarized really way too quick on some stuff. So I don't know.
For sure. I mean, I think as far as the adapt or die thing goes, again, if I'm recalling the dev talk well enough, it's that, they need to make changes to their game that is going to allow for people to want to keep enjoying it in different ways, right? And you can't That's why like not every draft set has been the same. Like
capacity.
Stay in this thing. Yeah, and they definitely want to continue to push that envelope of having good draft sets, but they also realize when they need an expansion set. When you take a look at Pen as a supplemental set, initially when I started the game, I started when Dynasty came out, so it was a supplemental set. I did not do any drafting. I didn't do anything there. I literally was just like, okay, cool. Let me get my constructed deck together. I'll go play CC, and that's just what I'm going to do for the rest of time, right?
Well,
but
I remember,
as I grew, it was so much, and it was easier for me to just put that focus on there, and I knew that my deck was going to work the way I wanted it to. If stuff got banned from other things, I was like, okay. If cards got banned from my deck, I was like, okay, I don't really know that I want to do that anymore. The banning system was very strict.
Yep.
But I know their adaptions now, it's like you need something to change things up. And I think that the fact that there are still 6 years later, Welcome to Wraith Heroes that have not Living Legend is insane. Like that is seriously something that I do not know that they had thought about in their initial development of the game.
Well, and
I think that was going to be something that they needed different.
Part of it could be, philosophies have modified over time, and I think talents provide a bigger pool, which inherently means more interactions, which also could indicate, stapled with a hero ability on a card, the more likelihood of those. Because again, I was for a while, there's a spreadsheet, and I know I have it somewhere, but I was tracking like when they were going LL and like the mean time between when they were initially here and how long they lived, and almost everybody that went out the first couple ones were hero plus talent, and then it took a while for the first non-talented to come. And now it's just a big roster, and there's going to be this interesting balancing act. That's why I think they introduced the whole 1-1-5-2 point scaling system, because I think, or I'm sorry, is it? Yeah, it's 1, 1, 5, and then 2. Yeah.
That's 0.5,
Gosh dang it. Yeah. Well, anyways, yeah, that one. The one that he said. That one. I think it's important to have that the more I thought about it, because otherwise you're just going to have a roster that's going to basically be play this game, and it's like a fucking Spaceballs movie of like an infinite scrolling list of like 700 heroes. And I'm sure there's a world where that's fun, like people that play League of Legends. I don't play that game, but apparently there's a huge roster in that game. So like
there's a big roster in that game. Yeah,
maybe that's what they're trying to avoid, right? Maybe they don't want to have that. Sometimes having a choice, but then limiting that choice to a small amount is better than having a billion things, because then you also got to balance a billion things. This game, because it is a non-rotating game, and hopefully they keep it that way, right? The whole somebody mentioned, I think it was maybe Brian, was we're going to use the ban list to really start trying to fix problems. I think that's a good mentality to have, because I'd rather see a card banned or restricted. I don't think you really do many restrictions. I mean, they've done a couple, but it's very rare. I'd rather see that than an errata on a card, because it's the hardest thing to go look at a card and find an errata and know that errata is like, I've heard Yu-Gi-Oh is just like an abysmal like errata world. Like
it's a mess. It's a mess.
What you read on the card is not that. Like you might as well just have every card say, please go to www.readthisnewruletext.com. So I don't know. I hope we don't get there. They've done a good job so far. All right. Well, that's it. Limited. Anything else in limited you want to talk about? That's it. Nothing.
No. I know that they said that their plan moving forward is to have a bunch of draft sets, but then they are going to continue to do expansion sets in the future. I think they said it's estimated like once every 3 years they're hoping to do an expansion set, just to like make sure that everybody's getting fueled with stuff, because 3 years, I mean, a hero being around for 3 years is a long time. You may even see heroes from Heavy Hitters still around at that time. You might see Arcane, well, you may not see Arcane Rising heroes, but you'll see like Monarch.
I mean, 4 sets a year is heroes, 12 right? sets. Like in 3 years, 4 sets a year ish would be 12 total.
Well, there's
sets.
Only I think there's only 3 sets a year, 3 main sets a year. So, But it is, I mean, even still, that's a long, so 9 sets, and then one of those sets is an expansion set. Like, I think that's pretty good compared to what they were doing previously, which was a draft set, an expansion set, a draft set, an expansion set.
Yeah, so it went draft, expansion, draft, expansion. Then it was Tales of Aria, so it was a draft, and then it was Everfest, which was expansion, technically last, and then it was Uprising, History Pack, which History Pack was its own unique thing, then Dynasty, so it was draft, expansion, History Pack 2, then Outsiders was draft, Dusk Till Dawn was expansion, then from then on out, it was Bright Lights.
It was nothing. It was just draft.
Crack Shuffle play-ish, but then since then, it has been all draft, and this would be the first revisit of that. Mastery Pack showed up in there, right? But that's a separate product line. The Blitz, I'm sorry, not the Blitz decks, the Armory decks. Speaking of which, I need to go back and fill in my gap on having a sealed Azalea before that one disappears, specifically because it has that alternate option in there. I think that one long-term is going to be a real interesting one to hold on to. But tomorrow, because I'm going to try to get this out tomorrow, happy Arachne Slippy release day, because I'm going to have to go get one of those for my LGS. So.
Oh, that's right. Oh, snap.
Comes out tomorrow. I know. More video, more content. Must make more content.
God, that's gonna be so good. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. My Arachne.
Are you willing to
assassin heart
teach me assassin tricks? Because I genuinely don't. I think I kind of skipped the assassin thing because I know it's a lot of trickery, but I almost felt like it was me making too many choices for me to enjoy playing it. I get that there's kind of a whole, you're going to go for one, but then it's a hold a couple cards in your hand, don't make a face, try not to show them that you have a poker face or whatever. And then what do you have? Oh, okay, you're going to block for 3. Cool. I'm going to buff 4 and then still come over. Or oh, okay, you blocked 3. I'm just going to go ahead and pass, do the next thing. And I'm sure there's some of that in there too, but I guess I'm not that familiar with it, but it sounds very trickery.
I can show you. It's a very fun thing. I mean, really, a lot of it isn't if you play Flesh and Blood enough, a lot of this is very face up. It's just kind of knowing what's the most popular thing at the time, and then if you happen to be playing pet cards, that gets you somewhere, right? I mean, sure. I can show you how to play Arachne Huntsman, which I got to top 8 at a ProQuest with, and that is such a very. It's intricate in its own different way, but it's really pretty brain dead until you get down to the best part about the deck is that you're swinging all this very much so just it's breakpoints. So it's okay, cool, it's a breakpoint, but all they're really doing is losing the top card of their deck. So most of the time your opponent's only ever really taking maybe 4 to 6 points of damage a turn, which you sit there and you go, oh God, that's got to be awful. How the hell do you even kill your opponent? But it's not until your opponent goes to draw up their hand and they only have no cards left in their deck. And you have 25 cards left in your deck. And you get to go, Remembrance, put all 3 surgical extractions back in my deck.
Yep.
I'm going to get you. And it's, all they can do is just pitch to swing weapon. You just block those things out with the remaining cards. You wait till you get your surgicals, send your surgicals, rip cards from your opponent's hand, and then you get them. And it's the agony in an opponent's face when they have not been paying attention to the size of their deck because they're my damage output's going to be so much better. And then they look and they're oh, I didn't prepare for fatigue. And I'm yeah, I fatigued you aggressively as opposed to fatiguing defensively. And that is it plays at a different angle. But I can also teach you Slippy. Far more easier to learn. You already know how to play Ninja. Assassin is just like that, except the on hits say discard a card from your opponent's hand instead of draw a card and, go tutor for something. Yeah. So
this has been Assassin's Minute with Alex.
Yes.
do. The more you know, son.
Get the graphic up. Get the graphic up.
I'll try it. So we talked about that. Anything CC had some stuff in here too. CC seems like they said it was happy. I mean, I felt like it's pretty good. And this is the part where they said they won't be shy using the BNR to keep things fresh. And something about they don't see it as a failure. I also agree. I wouldn't see banned and restricted as a failure. I mean, comparing this to other games, as I've kind of tried to look at other stuff, there is so much less banned in this game compared to other games. Like, it really is. So, anything on,
I think
anything
it's nice
on
the way that they utilize it. I mean, as far as like the BNR, I think it's really the biggest thing is just being like, hey, instead of it being a tool for them to be like, hey, we messed up getting this card, and this card is actually super oppressive, and we need to get it out of here. I think a lot of it, what they're doing is they're just waiting to see what the meta looks like. They want the meta to be that triangle meta, and then have like every now and again those A-tier heroes just kind of slip in and do some additional work. Maybe they get injected with some new cards from an armory deck or a mastery pack or whatever, and then they do a little bit better. But overall, the meta is going to stay at a triangle, and then things are going to kind of mosey on up. The best part about the BNR is that it's not so much about just banning and restricting, but it's also about unbanning. Yeah. And they'd mentioned during the dev talk something about like, they might need to introduce a new villain into the meta for Classic Constructed, just because a lot of people are expecting it. They're currently saying that it's very stale, that it's a solved meta. They're expecting a stale thing. So mark my words, 3 days before the podcast, or 3 days, if you're listening to this before the BNR, just know Bonds of Agony is going to get unbanned, and Assassins are going to be back, and everybody is going to hate everything, and I'm not going to shut up about it, because that's going to be sick. But again, that is a very specific thing. It could be, Bonds of Ancestry could get unbanned for all we freaking know. Like, there could be something, but it is, I think it's nice that they get to utilize that as a way to be like, okay, let's balance some stuff. They're willing to make emergency bans for things. I think the meta's in a very good spot. I just keep playing B-tier heroes because I'm edgy like that. I'm trying to be different. But now I'm not. Now I'm playing Gravy Bones. So here we are.
Yeah.
I'm a menace.
And every hero, will have its time in the sun, I'm sure, as things kind of progress forward. So, I guess wrapping our conversation up, anything else you wanted to talk about, or anything topic wise, or stuff you wanted to throw out there? Just figure out, ask.
I mean, R.I.P. Commoner. I know why you left. Frankly, I'm happy I'm happy it's gone and replaced with Sage. Because I could only imagine what that format would turn into if it still existed and Sage existed at the same time. We would have never seen a ban ever again in Commoner, probably, and it would just been awful. Silver Age is, again, as everybody knows,
do you want to know?
I love that thing.
Do you want to know a video that I'm going to work on that you're just going to call me insane for, right? Because you just mentioned Commoner. All right, this is my. Does Alex think I have lost my marbles? All right, ready? The title is
yes.
Silver Age solved? ? Building a deck with 0 rares.
Yeah, you're crazy. Why would you do all that? That's insane. You're wasting your own time. You're wasting your own time. Maybe when Pen comes out, that might actually not be a bad thing to do.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Yeah, I who knows?
That's like a challenge mode thing, it's like a trophy when you're playing like PlayStation or Xbox. Okay. You get a trophy for doing it. You can be like, yeah, cool. My $20 ticket to the $2 million world tour is actually $10 because I'm only playing commons. So
I thought it was funny because in a weird way, I was like, what if you tried to play a commoner deck in Sage format? How would it be? That was kind of like my theory. I don't think it'll be that great, but still, it'll be interesting because,
a lot
who
of
knows?
Stuff that's banned.
Yeah. Last thing I wanted to, I guess, call out on this because it's kind of something I've been working on that is near and dear to me. You might get a kick out of it. I spent a lot of time making this, and I don't know if it's going to come across very easy on this, but this is the prototype of the item that I've been working on, which is it's a dice box.
Ooh, a dice holder. There you go.
This is made out of wood, and I'm working on trying to get some licensed laser stuff. and I don't think I can put Flesh and Blood. I know I can't sell any Flesh and Blood stuff, but like there was a part of me that wanted to make one of these and put the Flesh and Blood logo and then like ship it to LSS and be like, here, this is something you can have, because like I think it's neat to have like products that,
I mean, you can give it to them without them having to, buy it, right? Then you're not selling anything.
Yeah, it's just, I know copyright's a whole weird world, and I try not to. Mickey Mouse will take the house. I don't want to play those games. But I don't know. I've been working on this because that's been the dice. The wife makes resin dice, and then I was like, I want to make a box, and it's been a design. It's been a very interesting challenge to do, but that has been another thing that I've been keeping myself busy with on the side that is not necessarily card related, but also card related in some tangential form. Yeah, when you come from block of wood to these are stages of grief. And then you can explode things. You can blow them up and have holes that you can look through. So, anyways,
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's my not fab minute. Well, I know it has been a while since we got to talk, man, and it's good to kind of get back in the saddle here and get to chat. I know you've been doing those podcasts in the morning, so that's kind of exciting. I'm glad that you're still able to come on and chat. Especially every once in a while here, and I look forward to the Sage series. I've been listening to those sometimes when I'm driving around, so that's your A to Z is doing real good. Yeah,
it's a lot of work.
Sage right now is just, there's so many directions you can take with it, and I almost feel like there's almost too much content that I could try to make, and I'm losing my own sauce with like what I'd like to do, because again, we're in this stage 0. So it's like, there's kind of like a non-desire to make stuff that's just not going to be useful when does this come out? Like a month, 2 months, like a month and a half?
February something. February 17th.
I feel like I can get through the Christmas season and just kind of prepare, and then, really just focus on Compendium, because I think that's going to be just such a enlightening set. So I'd be curious to see what the spoiler season for that looks like too, because that'll be, I think they'll face it,
it's going to be so crazy. It's going to be so crazy.
Every card, from a piece of equipment to commons. I mean, commons will be exciting, right? Like people were like, I got a common. Like, no, you got a common, you got a card. Like, it's cool. Like,
I cannot wait. It is going to be every card in there is going to be something that we can look at and go, oh, wait a minute.
I see what they did.
That's busted as hell, right?
Yeah.
Like, how many people are going to get? You're going to get a spoiler card, and it's going to be like, oh, wait a minute. Like, I'd imagine how they're going to probably plan to do it. If I were LSS, is I'd be making a video talking about every single one of your chapter decks. There's going to be cards that are spoiled in there, and then everything that is not in those sets are going to be spoiled by creators and people opening the set. Obviously, they'll be going in the world premieres in London. I got crazy with it just like a couple days ago. Just absolute fantasy of my brain is I was like, how much is a ticket to London at this time? And I was like, you know what? It was only like $540 round trip.
That seems amazing. I mean,
I know that seems pretty good. Not gonna lie, I was like, kind of, maybe if I got a raise at work or a bonus, or maybe this might actually
if
be
it was
doable,
it was after tax season, I'm sure people would be more apt to be able to pull
exactly. That would be crazy to go through, but it was. I mean, the world premiere is going to be in London. It's going to be a lot of fun there. You're going to get to play with these cards for the first time.
I want
there
one of
was also
cold stamped, I think, or hot stamped heroes. That seems really interesting. I like that.
That seems crazy. Did you also see the? I don't know where I'm going to find this article actually. For the release celebration for Compendium of Wraith, stores are going to be able to host
their choice of something
release day things. So they're going to be able to get give out these antiquity framed pursuits of knowledge.
Where was this at? That I don't think I saw that.
This is, hold on, I gotta find it. This is in.
I mean, I'm looking at the packages here that are for the event for the Let's LR Events UK page. So for $342, looks like you get 2 boxes of Compendium of Wraith. For $178, you get 1 on launch day, and then there's the event packages where you get the silver tickets and stuff. I really want to get one of these tournament packs sealed, just to keep sealed. But I also am curious what the heck they're going to put in these.
Oh my God, you have to open your Black Friday pack.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Oh, I forgot about that.
You got to open your Black Friday pack. What if you get a Crix?
What? Okay, we got a lefty or a righty. Which one?
The left one.
This one? It's my left. My left?
Yep. That'll be fine. Yeah, that's the one.
The ASMR portion of our video.
It didn't pick up a single thing from that.
Didn't pick up a single thing. Now, are they...
Not a single... I didn't hear a sound come out of that paper pack.
Well, I know there is no Crix in it, because I guess there's not 2. So there's 2 cards. We'll see the first one here. All right, we got Edge of Their Seats.
Okay.
That one's kind of neat.
There you go.
That one is a suspense.
And tell me you got booze.
What color?
Booze?
Yeah, what color?
It's only in red.
It's only in red? You sure there's a blue one?
Yeah, booze? Oh, what the hell am I talking about? Yeah, no, it is blue. That's right. It's only blue. Sorry. It literally only comes in one color.
Okay. Well, I apparently pulled that, so I guess that's what people are looking for.
You got the booze. Yep, booze is nice. Booze is pretty good. So that's a good one to pull. It seems that first card is almost always like cheers or booze, and then the second card is like whatever one of the other ones.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, that was one of the stores I went to. Got to go to Atomic.
There you go.
So. All right,
nice.
Shall remain sealed forever.
Sealed forever. God, these antiquity frames look so good.
So where's this article at that you found that says that this is happening?
I just sent it to you.
Okay.
It's the Compendium of Wraith Release Celebration Promo FAQ. It says Compendium of Wraith hits shelves February 13th, 2026. To celebrate its release, a special promo will be available from eligible retailers while stocks last. Grab a friend, grab a Silver Age deck, and head down to your local game store to pursue the pursuit of knowledge.
That's a beautiful card.
Stores can use this to support this in-store release in the following ways. They can host Silver Age events in-store from Friday, February 13th, and use these as participation prizes to support in-store sales of Compendium of Wraith as well. So they're either box toppers if you want to, or buy a box promos if you buy a box, or you can give them away as prizes or participation things or whatever for Silver Age events. Stores have been allocated these promos based on their organized play activity. Check with your distributor to confirm your allocation. If used as a sales incentive, promos must be used to support in-store sales only and may not be used for online orders. Yada yada, so on and so forth. Legal.
So what's interesting is this is, I mean, it's a beautiful card. I like Pursuit of Knowledge. I've always enjoyed the super rare from early years. I have a stack of them that I love the artwork. So this is even more neat that it's this way. What is odd to me, though, is the store that I typically go to did not get the Black Friday packs from what I understand. I had to go to 2 other stores I don't typically go to that are in a much further geographic distance for me to be able to get even the 2 that I got. So I will be curious if my LGS gets these because I know I have been a slacker and have had life things and have not shown up in like the last probably 3 to 4 sessions. But I also know that our store, again, has a much smaller footprint number of people than other stores. So I'll be curious to see if he gets these and how many he gets, because that would be nice if he did. So,
yeah, I mean, it's always good. I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, I'd imagine most stores are going to be giving this as box toppers, just because it's so much easier. You want people to buy product. If they buy a box, they get one of these here, which is a nice little prize for that. But if they want to do them for Silver Age events, I know, I would imagine many of our many of our LGSs would be doing Silver Age events right around the time of release, just because it's going to be such a hit thing. So who knows, right? Who knows what's going to happen with all that? But I do think that it is kind of a cool thing to have. I know the last time they did a release celebration was Rosetta, I think. Sounds right. So, yeah. So that's a fun thing.
Well, that's all I got, man. I don't want to drag this on too long. I appreciate those that have stuck around to the end. So again, thank you so much for those that are still hanging out with us. And again, I know where you can find me. I'll be here. I don't necessarily plan on going anywhere, and hopefully in the near-ish / upcoming time frame, right. I'm focusing a lot on Sage, and I've been trying to compile my brain. You will see, for those of you that are not Flesh and Blood fans, some talk about some sorcery, because the wife wanted to open some of that up, and the artwork there is just off the rails beautiful. But yeah, for Flesh and Blood, I think Sage is going to be probably the best thing that could have happened to this game in a long time. And I'll have fond memories of my hunted Blitz decks that never even left their wrapping, other than this, because I never even played these. So I will admire the stars on the back of my packaging as I it would be an interesting display to put these all. Oh, speaking of which, the one last fun thing. I really really hope that the boxes that are going to come, like I know they changed the size of the armory decks. I hope that the companion packs, I wonder if you can put sleeved cards in them, because I know that's been a big ask. So I wonder if they will actually hold sleeved cards.
This is crazy. You're the second person to bring this up. I was just on another podcast yesterday who asked this exact same thing. They were wondering whether or not the chapter decks, if you could take them out, sleeve them, and then put them back inside the boxes.
Well, the pack should leave just
with them, right?
Because the pack will have just enough gap that, like, in theory, that could work. Especially if you use penny sleeves. Doesn't, like, here for do I have my caliper? Like, this was a Bravo 40 card deck. Like, it doesn't add that much thickness when you use really thin sleeves. So, like, I could see that being a thing, because like a booster pack is, mathematically that's thicker than I don't know. I mean, it would work.
Right.
Or punch tokens.
It would be fun to see. It would be fun to see.
You get some punch tokens. So. All right. Well, Alex, it's been a blast. Where can they find you? I'm sure people already know, but just in case they don't.
You can find me over at Ashwing's TCG. We pretty much, I say we, it's always we. I'm doing a lot over there, but we're doing the Silver Age A to Z series right now, which is just like a deck of every hero in the Silver Age format from A to Z. Just to kind of showcase a little bit about what the heroes are capable of, maybe give you a little bit idea of to find something that maybe you will enjoy in the format. But I do also record and do a live stream of our podcast, The Common Language, every Tuesday morning to our channel members. So if you want to join us live, channel members only at 9 a.m. on 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time on every Tuesday. But the pod usually is edited and then comes out every Wednesday. So
would that be 11 for me in Eastern? Is that when that would be?
Yes. Yeah, it'd be 11 for you. So, yep. But that's when we do that. But of course, the pod, the actual VOD, like the fully edited one, always comes out on Wednesday if I can help it, unless I get busy at work, and which then it might be a Thursday. But I do my darndest to make sure it comes out on a Wednesday, so that way that day is scheduled. But otherwise, that's it. That's where you can find me. I'm at Ashen Wings TCG or Ashen Wings with a Z. On like every of my socials. So
buzz with a Z.
Mm-hmm.
All right, buddy. Well, it's been a blast. Thank you. And until next time, may your games be fun and your friendship grow. Cheers, and congrats on 3K.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.